Yes, guys, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the top 10 attacking players currently in the English Premier League. Now, you might be asking yourself, Limo, what on earth is an attacking player? This is not hockey, but let me explain myself. What I mean by this is players that are attacking minded. You see, back in my day, teams ran a 4-4-2. It was a lot simpler of a time. You didn't have players that had a strict attacking responsibility. Often your midfielders had more of a defensive responsibility along with their attacking responsibility. That's not the case. So who I'm going to include in this list are wingers, center forwards, and attacking midfielders, okay? Players that if you were to just take them off face value, their attacking responsibility is higher than their defensive responsibility, okay? And now before I begin and get into this list, I would like to ask a big favor of you guys. Please make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. I'm currently on track to 1,000 subscribers. I just passed over 500, so any and all support you guys give me, I really appreciate it. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. But without further ado, let's get right into this list. Kicking off our list at number 10, I have Heung Min Son. Now, some of you might question the input of Heung Min Son into this list, but for me, I think it is a no-brainer, specifically based on his past success with Tottenham. I think Sonny is an easy input at the 10 slot. There are a lot of guys who maybe they're performing well now in the current Premier League season, and you could argue that they should come in at the 10th spot because after all, this is a list of the current Premier League players. But with a guy like Son, I think you have to take into consideration the form he had been in season after season after season with Tottenham, and in my opinion, he is still a top player. I think Son can score goals, can create goals, and I think towards the end of his career, which unfortunately, if you're a Spurs fan, I feel he's getting a little bit closer to, I think he will be considered a Tottenham Hotspur legend, and that is why Heung Min Son comes in at my number 10 spot on this list. Coming in at number 9, and this may surprise a lot of people, I have Phil Foden. Now, why this may surprise people is because Foden this season has been pretty bad, if we're being honest. But Manchester City have also been bad. And a lot of people, if you follow any of my content, might be surprised because I have made statements so far this season talking about how much of a dumpster fire Phil Foden has been this season. But while this season Foden has not perform to the level of what we would expect, I feel it's unfair to not take into consideration the success that he has had previously. Specifically, just even going back to last season, which in my opinion, he was the best player in the Premier League that year. Phil Foden's quality when he's firing on all cylinders, it can't be questioned. But his current run of form, I do think has come into question on the longevity. But you do have to also recognize that Manchester City have not been the Manchester City that we know, and how much that could be impacting Foden's run of form. I do think that he will come back and be back to his performances that we were accustomed to, but previously, if we're being honest, Foden probably would have been higher on this list. He's not currently, but at the end of the day, we all know the quality Phil Foden possesses, and that's why he is at number 9 on our list. Coming in at number 8, I have Cunha at Wolves. Look, a lot of people are sleeping on Cunha just because Wolves have not been that great, but Cunha for me is a standout player this season, and I think he won't be at Wolves for much longer, and I think he will eventually make a move. Cunha has been fantastic. I think he's a tremendous goal scorer. He can create goals, and unfortunately, Wolves have not been great, but I think he's been the standout so far this season for Wolves. And yeah, like I said, I think that a move towards the end of the season or after the season is probably incoming for Cunha, but we can't just sit back and forget about how good of a player he's been this season. That is why Cunha is at number 8 on my list. At number 7, and this probably would have been a shock for me in the past, I have Nicholas Jackson. And the only argument I think you can make for Nicholas Jackson is that he should probably be higher in this list. But he has been a little up and down for me. But so far this season, Jackson's been fantastic. Chelsea in general have been very, very good. But Jackson last season, he was highly criticized due to his fact that he wasn't able to stick the ball in the back of the net. This season, you can't question that. Where he was previously compared to Darwin Núñez, I think he probably is more compared to other guys we're going to get into later in this list. Nicholas Jackson, for me, is a player that I only see rising up or going higher in lists like this. I don't see him decreasing because I think he's shown his level, and he's proved me wrong. I was a Nicholas Jackson doubter for a period of time, but as far as I'm concerned, that boy can ball. Nicholas Jackson at number 7. Coming in at number 6 on our list, I have Isak. Look, Isak at Newcastle has just been fantastic pretty much from the moment Newcastle signed him. And I also, like Cunha, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a big money move from Newcastle to one of the big 6 teams, but I don't think it will be the likes of, like, say, a Tottenham or, Manchester United or anything like that. I think that a team that really, really could be competing for a Premier League title will come in for Isak. I think, for instance, if you were to look at Arsenal, he could fit into that squad so well. He's a prolific goal scorer. The guy just knows how to find a way to put the ball in the back of the net at a level that, in my opinion, he can rival Haaland if he gets the distribution that Haaland gets. In my opinion, Isak is fantastic, and that is why he is number 6 on our list. Coming in at number 5, Luis Diaz. Yes, a player who I admire quite a lot, if I'm being honest. Luis Diaz has been fantastic for Liverpool from the moment he really came to the club, but specifically this season, I feel he is really starting to show his level. He's fantastic. He's arguably one of the top 3 wingers in the Premier League currently, and you could really argue the best left winger in the Premier League currently. I'm going to get to some other wingers later, but Luis Diaz, for me, is rivaling the output of Mo Salah. And if you've watched Mo Salah this season, his output speaks for itself. I think that maybe the only thing Diaz lacks is he just isn't as great in front of goal as Salah, which is like not saying much. But for me, he is probably the best left winger in the Premier League currently. There were rumors about Liverpool selling him at one point. I don't see that happening anytime soon, unless we were to get like 100 million for him from like a Barcelona or Real Madrid or something along those lines. But I don't even think that's likely. I think he's here to stay at Liverpool, which, as a Liverpool fan, thank God. I love Luis Diaz. That is why he is number 5 on our list. Coming in at number 4, we have Bukayo Saka. And I'll be honest with you, breaking into this top 4, you could really flip-flop these players in a couple different ways, and I probably wouldn't disagree with you. But I put Saka at number 4 only because I feel as though the players that are above him, I feel as though they have big moments, and oftentimes I'm waiting for the big moment to come for Bukayo Saka, and I think it will come for him. He's an outstanding player. He's, in my opinion, the best player at Arsenal. I know a lot of people say Odegaard, Saliba. I think when you think of Arsenal Football Club in the current day and age, you think of Bukayo Saka. The kid just oozes of quality. And one thing that really stood out for me is that when he shifted as a fullback for England in the Euros, and he did a really, really good job there. He's a player that can play in a lot of different positions on the pitch, whereas previously it felt as though Saka was just limited to right wing at Arsenal. I just think he's there at Arsenal because that's where he plays the best. Saka, to me, a very, very exciting young player. He really could be higher in this list, but when you get to the guys that I have in my top 3, it's no disrespect to Saka to be at number 4. Tremendous player. Number 4, Bukayo Saka. Coming in at number 3, and I'll be honest, again, like, this guy could be number 1 in a lot of people's lists. Erling Haaland. Arguably, not even arguably in my opinion, probably the best goal scorer I've ever seen. Just in terms of raw goal scoring ability. Some people will call him a tap-in merchant, but they don't understand how hard it is to get in those positions to tap the ball in or to finish opportunities at that high of a level in the Premier League. I do think that Haaland benefits from the fact that he is in a star-studded Manchester City team, but one thing that's really, really sticking out to me is the fact that Manchester City are suffering this season and Haaland is still in a golden boot race. I think that shows his level and shows his quality. I think he's much more than a tap-in merchant than a lot of people try to say he is. The only reason he is not either number 1 or number 2 in my list is I think that if you're going to look at the general play of the top 2 guys, I think it's better than Haaland. I think Haaland is a master of goal scoring, but in terms of his general play, I don't think it's as good. I think that especially seeing Manchester City not play their best, and you look at Haaland, it's like you're not able to help out because you're just such a raw goal scorer. So then when the team isn't maintaining possession and things of that nature, it really shows. But nonetheless, Erling Haaland, tremendous footballer, number 3 on our list. And now, guys, before I get into my top 2, I want to remind you, please make a comment down below letting me know what you think of my list. Even if you think it's awful, let me know. I want to know. And don't forget to click subscribe as well. Coming in at number 2 on our list, I have Cole Palmer. Yes, the boy is just unbelievable. He's arguably, you can honestly, I'm talking about how Haaland, his general play isn't that great. I think you can argue that the general play of Cole Palmer is one of the best in the Premier League, if not the best. He's tremendous. Chelsea have really, really turned it around this season to the point that we're honestly considering them title contenders at this point. And one of the biggest factors is the impact that Cole Palmer has had on this team. You can't argue that. Good at scoring goals, good at creating goals. I've even seen Cole Palmer put in tackles. He can play out on the wing. He can play as an attacking midfielder. I think when you look back at the Euros, one of the biggest detriments of Gareth Southgate and the England team were they didn't integrate Cole Palmer enough. And I think that showed by how he has performed this season. I think looking at him play, I think there's going to be a longevity in this player. And honestly, it slept on this deal that Chelsea did to be able to identify how good of a player Cole Palmer was and sign him because, let's be honest, none of us saw this coming, and he's been tremendous. And of course, guys, coming in at number 1, my guy, the Egyptian king, Mo Salah. Generational talent, one of the best the Premier League has ever seen. He's been doing it for 7 years now. I honestly, I think you're just out of your top if you don't have Mo Salah as the best attacking-minded player in the Premier League. And maybe I'm biased as a Liverpool fan, but I don't even think I am. He is the best attacking-minded player in the Premier League, one of the best we've ever seen. The guy is just oozing raw talent, goal-scoring ability, creating goals. He's just simply the best, guys. It's so easy. The only thing that we need is we need to put pen to paper with Mo Salah and make sure that he stays at Liverpool Football Club. But please, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Please let me know what you think on my list. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell as well so you know every time I'm making a new video. Like I said, I'm currently on track to 1,000 subscribers, so any and all support I really, really appreciate. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.